All right, everyone. Welcome back to the agency office. To those of you who are new here, my name is Sander Stage. I'm a 20-year-old agency owner operating my social media marketing agency out of Milan, out of my home office here. By now, we've been operating the agency for almost 4 years, and we're working with clients globally, primarily here in Europe, but also in the US and Australia, some other countries. Pretty much operating a global social media marketing agency at this point, but we have our base here in Milan, and we can't wait to have clients over for workshops and meetings once this whole world situation is over. That being said, in today's video, we're going to be talking about how to take your agency from $0 to $12,000 per month in 45 days. And that's not just a random number that I'm putting out there. I'm actually going to give you a day-for-day structure that you can follow. I'm also going to give you a resource for free that previously was only available to members of the Academy, which is my paid course. But as I said, we're going to be able to give it to you for free, mainly because we've upgraded the one we give to the Academy members, so we can actually give you the old one. Now, in all honesty, you might be sat at the end of this video thinking, why did Sander just give me all of this knowledge for free and this resource for free that most others would charge you for? And in full transparency, what we realized, and then based on the feedback we've gotten, our high-level program, Academy Pro, really shines through when it comes to taking your agency from $10,000 to $25,000 and $25,000 to $50,000 plus. And when it comes to managing clients whose ad spends are extremely high. As you'll also see later in this presentation that I'm about to show you, we support members of our course handling clients that have extremely high ad spend. So as you'll see, one of our new members just took on a client for his agency that has a monthly ad spend of $500,000, actually north of $500,000, right? So the purpose of this video is to give you the foundation that you can hopefully use to go out, sign your first couple of clients, get to $10,000, $12,000, $15,000 a month. And then when you reach that point, most likely you'll need some more knowledge and you'll need some systems so you can scale and maintain your agency in a streamlined way. And hopefully at that point, you might consider joining Academy Pro. Now, of course, no obligations. You do whatever you want to do. I'm just trying to create a situation that's good for you. So with all of that said, we're going to get into today's presentation, have a look at how to take your agency from $0 to $12,000 per month in 45 days. All right. So you guys should now be looking at the presentation, jumping right into it. I want to give you guys a quick disclaimer. This video is only made for those who are hungry. Okay. Now this one is really important because the structure, the plan, and the resource that I'm going to give to you in this video is really only built for you if you're really, really hungry and ambitious. If you're just casually browsing around through SMMA videos right now, not sure if you want to get started, not sure if this is something for you, then this video might not be right for you, because the structure I'm going to give you, which is going to allow you to really scale fast, is also going to be quite tough, and it's going to require a lot of mental strength. It's going to require a lot of dedication, discipline, and focus. All right. And so if you're not ready to put in the focus and the discipline that this is going to take, then you're not going to be able to pull through with this. Okay. This is only for those who are really, really hungry. So with that said, let's get into what we're going to cover in today's video. So firstly, we're going to be taking a look at foundations. The first few things you need to get, the essential things. Then we're going to look at the first week. So what you're going to be doing in the first 7 days of this 45-day process. Then we're going to take a look at what you're going to be doing from day 7 to day 10. So the 3-day process that follows your first week. Then the main blog, which is where most of the magic happens. And then we're going to move on to back to basics, actually, which you're going to understand once we get there. And then what you're going to be doing in the future with your newfound success. All right. So jumping right into it, foundations, you really need to get your priorities straight jumping into this challenge. Okay. You really need to make this your only focus, and you have to get in work whenever you can. All right. Now, when I was first starting out, right, I just turned 17. So this is more than 3 years ago at this point. I just turned 17 and I was so hungry. I really knew that getting my first SMA client could pretty much change my entire situation, my entire life, to be honest. I was getting maybe $100 in allowance at the point I was going to high school. When I say allowance, I literally mean money to buy food for, right, in my high school. And I was broke, and I didn't want to go to high school. I didn't want to live in a boarding school. And I knew that I had to do something to get out of that situation. And so I sat down and I decided to start my social media marketing agency. And I made it my only focus, okay? I was literally sitting in the back of every single class with my laptop open, looking for potential clients, okay? I was not paying any attention to the class because I was so dedicated to this. Now, do I recommend this? No. For most people, definitely not. I mean, if you're going to education, then you might as well pay attention, because if you're not paying attention, you're sitting there well, you're going to be wasting your time. But for me, I was so dedicated to doing this, okay? So if you want to do this while going to education, well, then you just have to literally pay attention to this in every other wake hour where you're not at your educational institution, okay? So really get your priorities straight. You have to make this your only focus, and you have to get into work whenever you can, okay? Now, what I was doing while I was in high school and I was trying to get my first client is, if I didn't have the first class of the day, I'd be doing outreach in the morning. If we got off early, so let's say at 1 p.m. or 12 p.m., I'd be doing outreach all afternoon. And anytime I was sitting in class or anytime I had time during the night, I'd be looking for leads that I could call up or email the next day, okay? So you really have to get your priorities straight and get into work whenever you can. So those are the foundations. Moving on, you have to set your goal. $12,000 is an example. You can reach that by either closing 6 clients that pay you $2,000 per month each, or say 4 clients that pay you $3,000 per month each, okay? Reaching $12,000 in 45 days is not gonna be realistic if you're trying to close 12 clients that's paying you $1,000 per month each, okay? Well, that's gonna take a lot more work. In the end, managing 12 clients who are paying you $1,000 per month is a lot more work than managing 4 clients that are paying you $3,000 per month, okay? Keep that in mind. Just because a client pays less doesn't necessarily mean you have to spend less time working with them, okay? So yeah, set your goal. I'd say if you wanna be a little bit more modest, say something like 5,000 per month or 7,500 per month. If you're really hungry and you know you can do it, well, say 12,000 or 15,000 per month, okay? I know when I was first starting out, $5,000 per month was my goal, and that would make me very happy. Today, that wouldn't even cover 1 month of rent for me, but we all have to start somewhere, right? So set your goal. It's quite important to have a goal in mind that you're working towards. And just a bonus here, I really recommend that you meditate on that goal every single day, okay? That's not even a part of the video, but I really recommend set a goal and meditate on it every single morning, and you'll start to see it happen, okay? Moving on, goal setting and results. So just to give an example, we have John, which is actually also the guy I was mentioning in the beginning of this video. John recently joined the academy. I believe they sent out this message around a week after joining the academy where he said, I just signed 2 new clients this week. Very small, but he can't complain. He said the first client is a 10% ROAS deal on a client with a $6,900 ad spend. So essentially what that means is he's gonna get 10% of the revenue that he creates for this client with their ad spend as a bonus, okay? And then the second client is a $350 per month flat fee. So a very small client, but worth counting in the beginning. And then actually you can see the following day after, he actually already sent this message saying, yes, sir, already maintaining a 3x ROAS for the $6,900 spend client. So very happy for that. So essentially, if we just round this up to $7,000 instead, so it's a little bit easier, we can say that he's generating a 3x ROAS on a client that has a $7,000 monthly ad spend, right? That means he's generating them $21,000 in monthly revenue, and he's taking 10% of that as his retainer, okay? So that's already a retainer of $2,100, okay? Now, mind you, this is a week after starting. Then about a week later, he sent out this message, which is locked in a new client whose ad spend is $20,000 per day, okay? So that's $600,000 per month, or as I said in the beginning of the video, north of $500,000 per month, okay? Now, you said the payment structure in place is a little bit complex because of the high ad spend, but the flat performance fee is fat, okay? So as you can see here, send a screenshot of his Stripe where he'd gotten the base retainer, which is $3,000 a month, okay? So this means that this new client, he's gonna get a bonus on the ROAS that he creates for them, but the base retainer is $3,000, okay? So I'd say if we're being very modest, this client is going to pay him at least $5,000 per month, but it could easily be $10,000 or $15,000 per month with a client whose ad spend is of this size, okay? So just counting these 3 clients, right? We have a $2,100 client plus a $350. Let's just round that up to $2,500. And then he has this client, which is anywhere between $5,000 to $15,000, but let's be modest and say $5,000. At this point, Jan is already sitting at $7,500 per month, being modest within 2 weeks. Okay, so that's just to give you an example of what can happen if you really put in the work. And one thing I really want to stress is John, like he's been like, since the day he's joined and since he's joined the first live Q&A we had in there, you could just tell he was hungry. You could just tell he was gonna see success even before he closed his first client. You can usually just tell when a person is in that kind of hungry mindset and when they're really dedicated to seeing results. And so on our last live Q&A call, actually just after Janet signed this huge client, I think he had around 25 minutes of talking time where he was just asking questions, one question after another, mainly about how he was going to set up the campaign structure for such a high ad spend, okay? And I was literally just answering one question after another. And I think this went on for at least 25 minutes of the call, okay? And that just goes to show what kind of, what kind of ad spends and what kind of clients we support our members having, okay? So yeah, that was just to give it a good example. Moving on into the first week of the challenge. Now in the first week, you're going to be learning, okay? And you're going to do this through either YouTube and Google or a course. Now, if you're sat here thinking right now, well, I've already been studying SMA videos for the past 2 months. I've already taken a course or two. Then you can probably skip week 1 and just go straight to the second step, which is day 7 to 10. But if you're completely green and you haven't studied anything yet, then I really recommend just taking the first week to learn everything you can, okay? Get all the foundations down as much as you can. If you're in a budget, I recommend doing this through YouTube and Google. But if you have a budget to spend, then I really recommend enrolling in a course like the Academy, because it's just gonna give you the industries, well, at least in our case, it's gonna give you the industry's leading knowledge in one place all together. And so you're not gonna be that confused having to scatter information from tens or if not hundreds of different places. But again, I always want to be completely transparent and say, if you are on a budget, then I don't blame you for just going on Google and YouTube. That's what I was doing in the beginning, right? I did get courses eventually, not specifically SMA courses, but I just got a bunch of different courses like, just online marketing and just a bunch of different courses I picked up different places. But in the beginning, I was just studying through, Google and books and stuff like that. So if you're in a budget like I was, definitely just go ahead and study for free, okay? Again, if you have the budget, go ahead and utilize it. You'll learn probably 20 times faster and more effectively. But if you are on a budget, it's still possible, okay? Moving on from day 7 to day 10, which is the 3-day process that goes on in this time frame. So this is where you're gonna be building your agency foundations, okay? You're gonna come up with a name for agency and a future service plan, okay? So firstly, come up with a name for agency. And the one thing I'll say is really don't overcomplicate this, okay? I see so many new people, starting their agency, spending literally weeks, if not months, trying to come up with their name, and then they keep changing their mind. What I say you do is, give yourself 30 minutes on the clock, do it on your phone on your stopwatch, give yourself 30 minutes and then write as many names as you can down in those 30 minutes. And then at the end, give yourself 5 minutes to pick the best one, okay? And whatever name you pick is the one you're going to stick with, okay? Because it's really not that important as long as you have something decent, right? But keep it simple. My name is Sander Stage. My agency is called Stage Digital, right? It's fairly simple. That's been the name since we started. So come up with a name and come up with a future service plan. Now, what I mean by this is, decide on what services you're going to be offering your clients. Now, you could go the very lean and simple route that we've gone and that we teach inside of the Academy, which is just providing Facebook and Instagram ads on a very high level. You could also diversify your service portfolio by offering TikTok ads, Snapchat ads, Pinterest ads. If you already know how to do one of those, then I definitely recommend, incorporating that into your service portfolio. But if you're just starting out with no knowledge like I was, then I recommend going lean and probably starting with Facebook and Instagram, because that's still, the leading advertising platform, okay? That's where you're gonna be able to generate the most consistent results for most of the different industries in the world, okay? So yeah, you can choose your service plan, just make one, okay? And yeah, I recommend going lean and simple in the beginning, and even in the future, we're still just providing those services, even though we've scaled, globally and are doing really big numbers at this point, working with really big clients. We're still really lean, but you can diversify if you want. The only important point is that you make a service plan and you stick to that. So when you present your services, there's no confusion with your new potential client of what you're actually offering them, okay? Moving on, setting up your business email. For this, I recommend using G Suite. Yeah, it's a really good idea to have a business email. It's really, really cheap. Again, if you're on a complete budget, you can just create, a normal Gmail or a Hotmail or whatever you prefer. But I really recommend just setting up a business email, because if you're going to be doing, email outreach, which you might be doing, or for sure, you're just going to be having some ping pong with a potential client on email, then it's really just a huge advantage to have a professional business email. Imagine you're about to close your first client on a $2,000 deal, right? And what separates you from closing them and not closing them is the fact that they found you unprofessional because your Gmail was ending in @Gmail. That'd be a huge loss you incurred just because you weren't willing to spend a few dollars on a business Gmail, okay? But again, if you're in a budget, you can still make do without it, okay? Moving on, you're gonna be building your agency website. Now, I put in parentheses that this is a very good idea because once again, you have to incur a slight cost with a website, but it's really, really worth it, okay? So if you're in a budget, again, go on without your website. I'm gonna show you what you can do if you have no website, but if you can build a website, then I really, really recommend doing it, okay? Just to give you guys a couple of examples, this is how the first Stage Digital website looked. Actually, no, this is the second Stage Digital website. We had one before this that we made on Wix, but this is the second website that we created for Stage Digital. It was built on Squarespace. You can see it outlined our vision, our approach, our services. Okay, there's clearly something wrong with Squarespace. It's because we don't have a subscription probably. We haven't been using this website for a long time now. Anyways, you can see here our services, and then the last tab was just get in touch. And actually when you clicked this, it will just open up an email, so you can send an email directly to us. Okay, now I'm not going to click this because I don't want to have the pop-up right now, but if you click this, it's just going to open up the email tab and you could send us an email directly. Now I kind of thought this looked pretty cool, but it wasn't very effective, and so I have my developer whip up a new website for us, and this is the current Stage Digital website. And this is actually, yeah, as you can see, it's a one long funnel format, so there aren't multiple pages, and then at the end you actually have the possibility to book in a call with my team if you want to become a client of us. Okay, now this is a very, very effective website. The advantage to a website like this is, you know, it's built up like a ClickFunnels, like what you'd see in a ClickFunnels, which is very effective. The main disadvantage to ClickFunnels is its cost. Okay, so you can usually expect to spend around $100 per month for ClickFunnels, unless you do like a yearly subscription, which I believe makes it cheaper. But yeah, ClickFunnels is quite expensive, and so the reason I have my developer whip up our new website on this particular platform is because we're actually able to provide to all Academy members. Okay, so if you're a member of the Academy, you would know that you can actually just go ahead and copy and paste my website one-to-one, put in your own logo, put in your own text, add your own background color, and customize it to make your own. But you can literally just copy and paste my website one-to-one. So just to give you guys a couple of examples of websites that are built using our website system, you can see here, this is one example of one of our members that built his website. Yeah, my internet is a little bit slow right now, so excuse the delay, but he actually built up his website using our system, our template. Sorry for the lag right now, guys. I don't know why my internet is slow. It was working perfectly all day. Anyway, as you can see, it's built on the same template, but he's just customized it with his own colors, his own logo, his own text, etc. But it's the same concept. He's made his own footer, and the same thing goes for this one. Okay, so as you can see, another website built with the exact same template and funnel layout. Okay, Adam actually has to change his Calendly URL. I'll let him know after this call, after this video. Yeah, he really has to update that for his own sake. But yeah, as you can see, and I mean, there's tons of different websites that have been built. I think we have one more. I found another example of a website that is also built with our system. As you can see, both on this website here and on his website, they've actually incorporated our reporting system. So this is also the reporting system that we've built in-house that we give to our members, that they've incorporated on their website to show prior results for other clients. So you can actually create case studies just by leveraging our reporting system. Okay, so those were just a couple of examples of websites built with our system. Now again, if you're in a budget and you're not a member of the Academy, you have two options. Okay, you can either build your website with Squarespace as the first one I showed you, or you can actually just create a Calendly link, and then when you're doing your outreach, you don't have to link your potential client onto your website. You can just link them to your Calendly site, and they can book in a call with you directly on the Calendly hosted page. Okay, so it doesn't have to be incorporated onto your website like on the examples I showed you. If you're in a tight budget and you don't have the capabilities or the capacity to create a website right now, you know, just send them a direct Calendly link. Okay, so that was that. Moving back into the presentation, the last point on here was actually setting up your Calendly so you're ready to schedule meetings. Okay, now we basically already covered that point. Moving on to the main block, which is where the magic happens from day 10 to day 30. Okay, so this is a 20-day process in total, and this is where all the magic is going to happen, because this is where you're going to get in all the outreach that you possibly can. Okay, you're going to take every meeting that comes your way during this period. Okay, now you might be thinking, and this also goes to the next point, you should close every single client you possibly can with no filter. Now with these 2 points, you might be thinking, well, Sander, shouldn't I have a filter? Shouldn't I, be vetting my clients before I start working with them? Shouldn't I vet them before I actually take a meeting with them and waste my time in a meeting that has no result? Well, no. If you're just starting out and you want to scale from 0 to 12, 15,000 quickly, then you're going to take every single meeting you possibly can, because you're going to have enough time to do that. Okay, unless you're suddenly, having the ability to schedule 35 meetings per day or 4 meetings per day, which I doubt you're going to be able to, then you should just take every single meeting you can and fill out as much of your calendar as you possibly can with meetings, because one, some of those meetings might surprise you and actually lead to a paying client. And those who don't, which you pretty much knew were doomed from the beginning, will still give you sales experience. Okay, will still give you meeting experience. So moving into your next meeting, you're going to be able to, you have a better chance of closing a client. And the same thing goes for closing every possible client you can without any filter. Even though it might not be your dream client, you'll still learn a lot from the corporation that you're gonna have with that client, okay? And so even though you might lose them 3, 4, 5 months down the line, or even 1 month down the line, you're still gonna take a lot of important lessons from and experiences from that corporation, that partnership with that client, that you can take into your next client corporation. So hopefully you'll deliver better results, a better service, and have them for a longer time, okay? So you're gonna have absolutely no filter on these two whatsoever. Moving on to the last thing here, last point in the main blog, is that this is a numbers game, okay? And I'm gonna give you an example of what I mean by this, and then I'm also gonna present you with the free resource that I promised at the beginning of this video. So firstly, the resource here, the machine, or as we call it in the academy, the client acquisition planner. Now, as you can see, we've called this one God mode, and it's because it's a custom one that we've made just for this YouTube video, for this 45-day challenge. And so as you can actually see here, it consists of 20 days and then 10 extra days, okay? Now, all you should care about are these first 20 days, because that is the main block, as you can see, from day 10 to day 30. So that's 20 days in total. And so the challenge actually spans from the day 1 to day 20. Now, if you're extremely hungry and you just want to put in the extra effort, we've added an extra 10 days for you, so you can actually do this for a month, okay? But the initial challenge, the main challenge, is from day 10 to day 20. And to be honest, when you reach day 20, if you do it successfully, you will be dead, okay? And if you can do it for 30 days straight, like I want to see your screenshots. I'm going to show you how to use the system in a second. But if you manage to do this for 30 days straight with all blue boxes, which I'm going to show you how the system works in a second, if you manage to do that, I think we should arrange some prize, because then you really deserve a prize, because the amount of work you're going to have to do this for 30 days straight is just immense. So let me show you how the actual system works in practice, okay? So this is the system. Now, as you can see, we have blue boxes and we have red boxes. Now, essentially the goal of the system here, of the client acquisition planner, is to hold yourself accountable with the amount of outreach that you do, okay? So as you can see here, the goal is to get 200 points per day. And for every single day, there are 10 boxes. So each box is going to count for 20 points up until a total of 200 points, okay? Now, you're going to be doing, different types of outreach, okay? Now, these are the 4 types of outreach that we recommend starting out with. If you have another one that you want to add in, you can do that. But I recommend starting out with LinkedIn messages, cold calls, emails, and looms, okay? Now, as you can see, each different outreach method gives different types of points, okay? So LinkedIn messages, 10 points, cold calls, 20 points, emails, 20 points, looms, 50 points. And so as you note in the amount of outreach you've done that day, you're gonna do the equivalent for the colors, okay? So let's see, one day you do 1 LinkedIn message, 1 cold call, 1 email, and 1 loom. That's gonna give you 100 points, okay? And that's not enough. So you're only gonna fill out half of these. So you're gonna take the red color here and fill out 5 red boxes, right? Because you literally only have 5 blue boxes, because you only got 100 points that day, okay? And so the goal is to have 200 points per day. And so you can choose, which type of outreach you want to do. You can either do 2 of each, that'll give you 200 points. You can also just do 10 LinkedIn messages, 2 looms, that'll also give you 200 points, right? So you choose what outreach you want to do. It's completely up to you. You can do only LinkedIn messages, only cold calls, only looms, only emails, or you can choose to mix and match them as you wish. But the main goal here is that you have all blue boxes all the way down to day 20. So is that day 20? That's day 21, right? Yeah, so okay, at this point we have all blue box. Let me just go ahead and make the other ones red so there is no confusion. All right guys, so as you can see, I just updated. Now, the goal is that all of the blocks down to day 20 are blue, and then I don't care what you do for the last 10 days, okay? That's completely up to you. But yeah, to complete this challenge, you literally have to get 200 points per day for 20 days straight, okay? Now, I don't want to make any guarantees, but I'll tell you what, any person in the academy, in the history of people who have ever used the system, the schedule. Now, the one we give out inside of the academy is a little bit different. It's based on weekdays. It's not as tough. You only need 100 points per day. But as I said, this video is made for those who are hungry. So the goal here is 200 points per day for 20 days straight. In the academy, we give a 9-day challenge where you have to get 100 points per day only on the weekdays, okay? And the system is a little bit different because it updates automatically, right? So you can see it automatically fills out the boxes as you put in the numbers. So you don't actually have to update the colors by yourself. Nevertheless, guys, the point is you have to get 200 points for 20 days straight and fill out all these blue boxes. If you have just a couple, let's say you fail here, then you've literally failed the challenge, okay? You really need to hold yourself accountable and get 200 points for 20 days straight, and it's going to be almost impossible for you not to see crazy results, okay? All right, guys, now moving back into the presentation and to the next slide. This is the process that goes on from day 20 to day 45. Now, you might be wondering, why not, 30 to 45? You just said this, the main block is day 10 to 30, and now there's one from 20 to 45, right? So there's obviously an overlap between the two stages, between day 20 and 30, okay? And this is because you might already start signing your first couple of clients after your first 10 days. And so if that happens, then you're not gonna wait with servicing those clients until you've finished the client acquisition planner, okay? And that just makes your job even harder, because if you sign a client after 10 days, you still have another 10 days to go where you need 200 points per day. And this is a really important point, okay? Because yeah, I mean, when I closed my first client, I just stopped doing the outreach. And then 3 weeks later, 4 weeks later, I really realized I could lose this client anytime. I don't want to be in a drought, so I have to start doing outreach again, okay? And so that's why it's important that even though you sign a client 3 days down the line, 5 days into the challenge, or 10 days into the challenge, you keep following it until you've done at least 20 days. And I mean, these 20 days are very, very intense, right? But let's say you finish these 20 days, you have 2 clients or 5 clients on your belt now. You should still not stop doing outreach. You might not have to do this intensely because no one can keep up that rhythm for long, or if you can, you're literally a beast. But still, keep doing outreach consistently, okay? It's really important. Don't get complacent just because you have a couple clients making $10,000. We'll go into this at the end of this video, a really important point that I want to stress. But yeah, as I said, you might already start signing clients after 10 days or even less. So you should start doing the service delivery for them, because client retention really is key. Now you want to be proactive and communicative with those clients. So yeah, as I said, even though you're still working on the client acquisition planner, still doing a bunch of outreach, still communicate, daily with your clients. Really make sure that they're in the right hands. Start creating their campaigns, etc. Focus on KPIs and report results. Okay, this is a really important point that I like to state in a lot of videos. Don't focus on, let's say, the amount of link clicks you've created for the client or the reach that your ads have created. Focus only on what they care about, which is the revenue you're creating for them and the ROAS that you're creating for them, and taking them from where they start, point A, to where they want to be, point B. Okay, so yeah, if you're signing the client and they're at a $50,000 monthly revenue and they told you they want to get to $150,000, focus on that. Okay, focus on delivering revenue and a great ROAS and nothing else. Okay, just focus on the KPIs and nothing else. Moving on to day 45 and the future. So hopefully, if you've completed this challenge to a T and you've taken it seriously and you've been very hungry with it, then you might have seen some results already, okay? We've literally seen people, and I'm not joking, we've seen people who have followed the structure and have reached 10, 15, no, not 20,000. We've seen people reach, 10, 15,000 in the span of 3 weeks, by following the structure, okay? In monthly revenue, that is. But if you reach that, then there's some, some precautions that you want to take moving into the future, so you don't lose it all, and so you don't, really just screw up, really. And so the first point is here, don't spend all of your money immediately, okay? Now, there's this rule that I call the 3 consecutive month rule, okay? Now, essentially what this rule is let's say you go out in the next 45 days, you build up an agency and you sign enough clients, and now you're sitting at $12,000 per month, right? Now, in my opinion, you can't go tell your friends that you're at $12,000 per month with your agency until you've done that for 3 consecutive months, okay? And in my opinion, you can't go out and spend a single, okay, you can do a little, right? But in my opinion, rationally, you shouldn't really spend any of that or any of those $12,000 on yourself until you've made it for 3 consecutive months, because until then, you have no guarantee that you're going to be making the same the following month, okay? And so you might go inside a bunch of clients, make $12,000, spend all of that money, and then lose all those clients, right? And then you're just in a very awkward situation, right? You just told your family, oh, I'm running a $12,000 per month agency. You bought a bunch of expensive designer clothes, and next month you're back to zero, right? So for the first 3 months, guys, I'm begging you, just stay low, okay? Stay calm, stay humble. Don't start bragging to your friends and your family, and don't start spending ridiculously, Just stay low. And that's cool. Like, in my opinion, those are the people I respect the most, right? So just stay cool until you've made the amount that you want to make and that you want to spend for at least 3 months consecutively, okay? And that's when you can officially start telling your mom, your dad, your family, and your friends, oh, I'm actually running a $12,000 per month agency. And that's also cool, but just make sure you don't put yourself in an awkward spot and lose all your clients. And so that's why you really want to dedicate 80% of your energy to your existing clients and maybe only 20% to the pursuit of new ones, okay? Now, obviously this varies depending on how many clients you have and how much client work you have. In the beginning, at 0 clients, obviously 100% of your energy is going to go into the pursuit of new clients. But once you reach 5 clients, or 6 or 7 clients, that's actually going to transition into you spending the majority of your energy on your existing clients and less of your energy on the pursuit of new clients. And that's because client retention, as I also mentioned previously, briefly earlier, client retention really is key if you want to run a consistently profitable agency over a longer duration of time, okay? It's much more important to keep the same clients for 6, 12, 18, 24 months than it is to onboard a bunch of new clients every single month while simultaneously also losing a bunch of clients every single month, okay? You're never going to be able to scale that way, and you're never going to be able to build a respectable business, okay? So really dedicate most of your focus to your existing clients once you start signing a couple of clients. So guys, that's going to be it for today's video. Of course, the resource that I mentioned will be linked below. Now, there's one more point that I quickly want to throw in, which is I promised to give you guys an example of it being a numbers game. So let me just show you. This is the amount of outreach that I was doing in a single day when I was first starting out, right? This is what led me to closing my first $5,400 client 3 weeks after starting. So these are in Danish, but the point is that you're going to be able to see there's a custom sales script, which is this part, and there's a custom spoke to person on each one, okay? So you literally I'm going to go flip through them. You're going to see the sales script pretty much changes for every single one because I customized the sales script for every one of these. And you're going to see, I spoke to a different person. Some of them are empty, but in most of them, I spoke to Tertiana, I spoke to Margaret, I spoke to Helis, so I spoke to Sophie, I spoke to Meta. And so you can see that the sales scripts are changing. Some of them are the same, of course. I spoke to Siri, right? So this is literally the amount of outreach I would do in one day, and that just goes to show you that this is really a numbers game. As I said, I was sitting in the back of class, finding leads in the evening before going to bed. I was finding leads, and then during the daytime, whenever I had time, I was getting in the outreach, making at least 30 cold calls per day, sending out 5-10 emails per day, okay? So yeah, guys, that just goes to show that this is really a numbers game, okay? That's how much outreach I was doing every single day in the beginning, and that's what led to me closing a $5,400 client 3 weeks after starting and being able to scale ridiculously quickly in the following months. So yeah, it's in full transparency, if I was gonna do this 20-day challenge that you're about to do, I would probably fill out all the blue box in a matter of 4 or 5 days. That's how much outreach I was doing. But again, just following this one and filling them out in 20 days, that's also a lot of work. So really decide how hungry you are, how ambitious you are. If you really want it, it's definitely possible. We've seen it happen time and time again for people inside and outside of the academy. But of course, if you have that extra knowledge and that system and those systems that we give you inside of the academy, you're gonna have a leap year ahead of others. You're really gonna have a jump start and some knowledge that literally just push you leap years ahead of the game. But again, if you're on a budget, you can definitely start out a profitable agency just by the help of free information. So again, that's going to be it for today's video, guys. I sincerely hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget to get the free resource, the Client Acquisition Planner. It'll be linked down below this video. And apart from that, if you enjoyed it, drop a thumbs up. If you're not already subscribed, go ahead and do that. If you wish to, you can even turn on post notifications if you want to get a notification whenever I drop value on this channel. So with that said, I wish you the best of luck going into this 20 days challenge. If you're hungry, go for it, man. And one more thing, if you want to see me break down how to do each of these different outreach methods, so LinkedIn messages, emails, Looms, cold calls, if you want to see me break those down in separate videos, I can do that too. So yeah, guys, hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in the next one.